Very fine, good morning. Today we will see about Angular NGXS. NGXS is a state management pattern or state management library of Angular framework. So it's a single source of truth for your application state. It providing rules for predictable state mutations. So normally the NGXS which used to complete state management of Angular framework starts with a basic example. So initially we will open a Explorer, then we will entering into my PC and entering into the directory of C:, then you are entering into the folder which will be called as training. Then now you will open a command prompt for create a new Angular application. So the new prompt which is open, then now you will create a new Angular application. So npm install -g for global, then we will create @angular /client CLI. npm install -g @angular /CLI. Now the complete Angular package was installed. Now you will create a new project. So ng new, the name of your Angular project. This is my first Angular project, so it will be called as demo 1. So the project which will be titled as demo 1. So ng new demo 1. So would you like to add Angular routing? Now the Angular routing was not needed, so you will press no. You will choose the CSS file. Yes, CSS. Now a new project was created in the name of demo. So ng new, you can create a project which will be called as demo 1. So Angular is a complete framework. So in that Angular framework which merged with a state management concept, which creates a new Angular framework which is called as NGXS library. NGXS library. Now our project is ready. So you're entering into CD demo. So you're entering into that folder. Sorry, CD demo 1. Yes. Now you are entering into our folder. Now it's our duty to install NGXS store. A store is a container which used to store action as well as state management. It's a complete complete data store for all the components of Angular. So here we are adding a store. So npm add @ngxs /store. So we add a new store. So after completing this activity, we need additional one more activity that will be called as so adding a locker plugin as well as DevTools plugin. So npm add @ngxs /locker -plugin, and we will add another package which is called as NGXS /DevTools -plugin -development environment. So you will install the two packages. One is locker plugin, the second one DevTool plugins. Yeah, now entire package was ready for developing your project. Now you will type code dot for opening the entire project in Visual Code IDE. Now your NGXS project which is open in Visual Code IDE as trust this author. Now the entire file is available. You can expand src in the Explorer window then you will open app module. So the basic app component was ready. Now you will open app module.ts, inside that which will import browser module. Now you will add additional modules. Additional 3 modules are required. One is NGXS module, dot for root of, comma, first one for NGXS module, the second one for NGXS Redux, DevTools plugin module, dot for root of, comma, the last one we will add NGXS locker plugin module, dot for root of. So we will add all those required plugin. Now the entire project was ready. With all the required component. So now save the app module. Yes, now you will check whether your project is working or not. So you will go to that window and you will type NGS-O. Yes. Yes, our project is working fine. Now I will go to my prompt again and I will stop this. Press Ctrl C to stop this. Yes, I will create 2 components, ng generate component, then the name of the component inside a folder components, components, slash I will create the first component which is called as create component, ngGC ng generate component slash create. So inside a folder components which will create a folder create a component named as create. Yes, these required files are created. Now verify the same. Inside the folder app you will create, it will automatically create a component. Inside that create component their CSS file, HTML file and TypeScript file. Now similar way I will create another one component. So ngGC generate component, inside the folder components slash the name of the file which is called as index. So index component. Now both the component was created. Yes, inside a folder component. Now there are 2 components are ready. One which is called as create component, the second one which is named as index component. Yes, fine. Now entire thing was ready for our process. Now I will go to my prompt and I will add a bootstrap. So npm add bootstrap for fancy layout. Npm add bootstrap for giving a fancy layout. Now the bootstrap was added, entire bootstrap was added. Now you can go to your code and open that file styles.css. Inside that you will add the bootstrap path. So just you will type at import, then you will type the path of the bootstrap. So double quotes, something called the tilde symbol, slash bootstrap slash dist slash css slash bootstrap dot min dot css. So the style sheet file was added. Now save the file. Yes, entire style was ready. Now you will create your first component. So name of the component as create component. You will open that HTML file, create component.html, delete that entire code. That process is not needed. Now you will create a simple form. So div, so you will create class equal to card layout. Inside that you will type div class equal to card hyphen body tag. Sorry. Yes. So div tag card, inside that card body, inside that you will create your own form. So there is a form tag. Inside the form tag you will create the form group, div class equal to form hyphen group. So inside that you will add the first component, that is called as label class equal to something called as col hyphen md hyphen 4. So you will create a label box, then name of the label box as name. Then similar way label. So similar way, sorry, you will create the second component for getting a input. So input type equal to text, input type equal to text, class equal to input type equal to text, class equal to form hyphen control. This is a form control component. The name of the component, which is as hash something called as name slash that component. So now do the same for our second component. So I will just copy paste these set of things. I will do it for my second component. So div class as form group, then div class label class column md4, then name of the second component, which is called as something called as email, then input type as text, class as form control, then email. So input type I will change it to email. Input type equal to email, then we will change the name also into email. Now my basic form is ready. Now I will create the third component, that is a button. So div class equal to form hyphen group. Inside that I will create a component which is called as button. This is a button component. class equal to btn hyphen primary blue color marry the name of the button, which is called as create user. Now the entire thing was ready. Now save the file. Save the file. This is basic activity was completed. After saving the file, you will call that component in app component.html. So go to app component.html. I will go to the end and remove the entire code, and I will create a div tag. So div class equal to container, div class equal to container, then inside that div class equal to row, inside that div class equal to col hyphen medium device hyphen 6, so partial things. So the entire format was ready. Inside that I will call my component, which is called as app hyphen create. So save the file. Now I will do the same for my next component too. So div class equal to col hyphen md hyphen 6. This is completely ready for my next component. So now I will save my file. So entire thing was ready. Now I will compile my file NGS-O. I think Bootstrap means CSS. There is a spelling mistake. Yes, remove the S. Then I will now save the file. Stop the compilation. Yes. Press Ctrl T to stop. Again type NGS-O. I think there is a path issue for Bootstrap, so I will verify the path. I will go to node modules and then I will go to Bootstrap, node modules, and then I will go to Bootstrap, whether it's properly installed or not. Bootstrap. Inside that I will go to dist, inside that CSS, bootstrap min.css. I will scroll down. Bootstrap.min.css. I will copy the path, copy the relative path. Then now I will paste the path here. save the file. Now I will compile the same. So properly copy the bootstrap path. Now I will verify the same. Now we are in the path of src/styles. So I will enter double dot or double slash. Now it's compiled. Go to my browser and refresh. Yes, my form was displayed. It's just a path issue. So dot dot double slash, then fine. Now my create user file which was displayed in a fine manner. Now which need a new module component in my app module. So this is a reactive component. So now I will go to my app module. I will minimize my node modules. Go to the app component and app module.ts. I will add a new module which is named as reactive form module. Reactive forms module, the new form module which is added. Yes, a new form module which is added. Now I will go to my create component.typescript file. I will create a variable, the variable named as ang form, a new form which is called as ang form colon which is under form group. So or its type was any, then you can place a semicolon. Now a new variable was created. Then now you will add a parameterized constructor. So private form builder fb equal to form builder. Now save the file. You will create a new method. You will create a new method which is called as create form of. A new method was created, create form of. Inside that this dot ang form which is equal to this dot fb dot group of, you can group that variable, the first variable which is called as name colon validators dot require. Similar way the second one is email colon then I will create my second function which is called as add user of name comma email id, both are any, we will create the second method, add user. Then I will just print console.log the method which will print the name comma value. Sorry, name comma email. Save the file. Now go to my component. Inside the component you will add the method called as add off. So during a button click activity, so click activity, you will call the method add user of name comma name dot value comma email dot value. So it will call add user method which will pass name dot value and email dot value. Now you will go to your browser and click on inspect and open console. Then you can type Keshav, then email ID as keshav@test.com. Now you can click create user. So both previous and next state was empty. So store was created but the state was empty and nothing was printed. Now you will create the basic validation activity. So you will go to create component.html. Now a state was created and then it refreshed automatically. Now this is the time to create a model. So now I will create a model. So inside app folder I will create a new folder. The name of the folder is models. So inside that folder I will create a new file. Inside that folder I will create a new file. The name of the file which is called as user.ts. So this is for a model file. Inside that I will type export I will create an interface. The interface which is named as user inside that I will create two variable, one which is called as name, that is string, the second one which is called as email colon string. Now that's what my model was ready. Now I will create a new folder, the name of the folder which is called as store. So inside that folder I will create a new folder, another folder, not file. I will create a folder which is named as actions. So inside store you will create one folder called as actions. So second folder which is called as states. So inside actions I will create a new file, the file which is called as user.actions.ts, user.actions.ts. So the action file was created inside store, inside actions folder. So I will add the action file. So that's called as export class, that's for add user. So you can type add user, delete user, update user, etc., etc. So that's file for add user. So inside that static something called as read only, static read only type equal to, you can type a proper way, this is a proper way for adding title. So user, then perform the activity called as add. So now you will add the both and type semicolon, then you can create a constructor for new object creation. So inside that you can type public, a common static variable that is called as payload colon, this is a model of user. So press enter. Now save the file. Now whenever action was called, which will call this method add user. Now it's our duty to create a state file. Under the states folder you will create a new file called as user.state.ts. There is a TypeScript file. So now a state file, so you will create a state file, export class, that is called as user state model. So you will create a user state model. So always user state model, which is a class which comprising of collection of users array. So users colon a model user, this is a array value, so array, then semicolon. So fine. Now you will create two activities under a state. So the first one, a state creation. So at, there is a decorator, state, at state, then less than, then user state model, at state, user state model, then open parenthesis, inside that open curly brace, inside that you will provide a name for your state, that is name colon users comma name colon users comma default colon this is for new state creation. Now you will create a user state. So export class, this is user state model. Now you will create a user state. So user state. Inside this class there are two basic activity, one for select activity, another one for action activity. So add selector, a decorator, add selector. There is a static method which is called as get user for state user static model. So user state model which will return the entire value. This is return state dot list of users. So whenever it call, it will return the all those users. So this is for getting activity. For insert the value or create a new state, so there is a method which is called as decorator, which is called as actions. So this is a method for add user. So whenever add user call, this action was invoked. I will write a method called as add, which will get state comma patch state colon state context, that is called as user state model, comma payload colon the method which is called as add user. So always get the state value from get state of, and you can update patch state. The user values which will be updated. So yes, fine. Now the entire thing was ready. Payload is not added in add user, so soon we will add it. Now I will go to create component, my component, create component dot type script file. So I will add user. Inside that I will use this dot store is not added, so I will add a component store first. So this dot store dot dispatch method, I will call the method called as new add user of name comma email. Yes, now the spelling was corrected, user state error was solved. Now the component was updated with dispatch activity. So whenever the dispatch activity called, the action was called, the action which returned the data in the state. So whenever the index event call, so which will write the data. So now you will add the user state into NGXS module. So go to app module. So in the for root you can add user state. So this is not added like this, so you will place it inside square bracket. Now save the file. Now the entire things works fine. So now you will go to your browser, you will refresh the page and you will type the name, mail ID, create user. Yes, the previous state of users. So the user value is an array of 0. Click on that value, it's array. So previous state is empty. Now the next state is user, is array of 0 users. Now the user module is ready. Now you will create your index, the last file which is called as index.html for viewing the value. Go to index.component.ts. Inside that I will create a new variable which is called as users colon, it's an observable variable. So observable, which based on the user model. If the value is not available, which is empty or any, then the constructor, it's a parameterized constructor, we will create private str store. Then inside that constructor, automatically which will fetch this dot users equal to this dot store dot select activity. So which will call the select decorator inside your state activity, which will get the state from state dot users dot users. So list of users which will be displayed here. So I will display the user in my HTML page. Go to HTML page. I will remove these contents and a div tag, something called as NGIF. If users is true, then which enter into the div tag. Then I will create a table class equal to table hyphen striped striped. Inside that I will create table heading for table row for th, then I will print t body. Inside that I will create table row which uses something called as ng for, which is equal to let user of users from asynchronous fetch so fetching a value from an array, then you will print a table data, use a binding variable user dot name, the second one td, then user dot email. Now save the file. At last I will go to my app component.html. I will go to app index component. Now save the entire files, go to your browsers, refresh it, something div tag is not properly closed in index component.html, go to there, So I will now the entire error was solved. The heading, name and email was added. I will type something called as Kesav as my first state variable. Kesav at test.com. It's my mail ID. I will click create user. So the entire thing which is added in a state, I think my state was cleared. Added something Raja and Raja at gmail.com. My state was refreshed. I will go to something, it will be refreshed. There is an issue on the state activity, so I will go to my state activity. The application was running, so which display the form. Whenever I type the data, something called as Bala, and then I will type Bala at test.com. I will type create user. The name was created, but the page was refreshed. I will type the another things, something ABC. I will type ABC create user, which updated, then immediately state was clear. So because of that, this form was not a form group. So I will type form group, which is equal to ANG form. Now I will save the state management. Now I will go to my browser. Now I will type the file Kesav, then Kesav at test.com. Now I will click create user. So the state was added. Now I will type the next user, something called as Bala, and then I will type the mail ID as Bala at test.com. I will create user. Now the state was added. Similar way, the entire state management works fine. So thank you. Thanks for attending the session.